What's up guys, Rhino here and welcome to my latest FIFA 19 video. This video guys is going to be me getting my first taste of the new Division Rivals. So the way it works is you have to play 5 sort of placement games. As you can see here, it says complete your placement matches to qualify for the division matching, your skill level. And then once we've done that, we'll then sort of be in a similar kind of format to what it's been in previous years, where we'll have a certain division that we would have been placed in, and then we will just play kind of like online seasons. But you get much better rewards. I don't really know exactly how this works. I've had a look and it's a little bit confusing. We've got all this sort of stuff here, all these points, different rewards you can see down the right hand side, which we kind of knew already. You get a choice of what you're going to get. These are the various divisions. Tells you how many points you get, like foot champs points to qualify for the weekend league, goes all the way up to Division 1, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go into that in too much detail right now because I honestly don't really have a clue myself what's going on with it, so I'm just going to try and pick it up as I go along. It's going to be interesting because I've not actually played a single online game yet, so I feel like it's a little bit of a risk, but then, I mean, this is all you can do essentially, because you know, there's no normal seasons, no tournaments, so this is pretty much as, well, I want to say easy, but you know, pretty much everything is like hardcore really now, and it's very competitive, so you're going to have to jump in some sort of competitive gameplay online unless you want to play a draft, but I personally can't afford that. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I could literally lose all of them. It's a very real possibility. I'm hoping to win at least 2. That, you know, that would sort of keep my pride intact. If I came out of it 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats, you know, I'd be like, whatever, I'll improve. If you stick me in a slightly lower division, that's fine. If anything, if I won all the games, it probably wouldn't be a good thing, because potentially, obviously, you know, you're going to go in a higher division and I'll just get battered for so many games and I'll be having a torrid time. So, you know, a couple of losses would probably be alright. In terms of the teams which I'm going to be using for this, guys, it's still exactly the same with the Bundesliga team, so I'll just quickly flick over them there. You don't need to see the layout because we've seen that in a previous video. I made 2 changes to the Premier League team though. I've taken out Josh King, as he was just doing nothing for me. I couldn't justify having him in there in such a, you know, the stakes are getting a lot higher now. This is not offline. I can't be messing about with players. I've bought Antonio for about 2,500 coins. I'm hoping that he should be a little bit better. He does look okay. He's obviously a striker. I don't see him as like a natural finisher. Maybe not so much as somebody like Sturridge, but hopefully he'll be okay. And also, I've got myself a right back now, which is, you know, one of the essentials. Bought in Zappa Costa. To be honest, a lot of the right backs are quite expensive. I searched about 2,000 coins. I couldn't find a rare right back in the Premier League, so I ended up going for the one which I thought looked the most solid and most well-rounded, but still had a little bit of pace. Zappa Costa kind of fits the bill. High work rates, 6 foot. Doesn't look too bad. Fairly kind of like well-rounded in-game stats. Good stamina as well, actually. So hopefully he'll be okay. Hopefully he'll kind of get the job done for this. I know he'll certainly be better than Charlie Daniels, but I don't actually have the money to afford to replace him. As you can see, I've only got 473 coins. So yeah, let's see how this goes. So yeah, it's pretty much just going to be a case of getting into it. What I'll do is I'll play the matches and then I'll go through it and I'll pick out all the best bits for you guys, and then you can watch it all in a second, and then I'll just have a little kind of recap and summarise how I thought it went for me. But yeah, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, so our opponent in the first game is this guy here, who's wearing the very snazzy Juventus away kit. Nice all black kit. Might have to pick that one up myself. The team he's got there, guys, it's an interesting one. Obviously Perrin in goal, Karsdorp, I'm not sure who the centre-back is. He's like Romagnoli, possibly the other one. Don't know who the left-back is. Kate Baldo alone, Milinkovic-Savic, Emre Can, Zielinski, Kluivert and Mandzukic up front. So, you know, decent side. Probably the same kind of value as my teams, I would say. I wouldn't have thought they're much more. I don't know how much Mandzukic is, but I can't imagine he's going to be like hugely expensive. But yeah, nonetheless, could be a difficult, you know, it could have been a difficult game for me. You can see they got the first snapshot off with Daniel Sturridge, but that was straight into the side netting. Didn't really catch that one properly. But this guy does go up the other end once he So he takes a little while over his goal kick. He's obviously, he was angling this one up, checking out all the new features. This is where I thought that potentially he might not be actually that good, because I thought possibly the whole goal kick thing was kind of throwing him off. But maybe this is one of his first games. But then he did go up my end and have a good effort with Mandzukic there, which really caught me off guard. I didn't, for some reason, I couldn't actually control the player to stop the shot. And then I hit the crossbar there. Not a bad header, not a lot of power in it, but it was fairly well placed. It just kind of dropped onto the bar though, unfortunately. We're getting on to about the half an hour mark, still goalless. It didn't really surprise me the way this FIFA's been going. I've obviously been finding it incredibly difficult to score, as of most people. Charlie Daniels with a little cross in there though, popped out to Lanzini. Thought it was just going to nestle in the bottom right hand corner there with that nicely placed shot, but he didn't quite wrap his foot around it enough, and he ended up just sort of planting it just wide of the mark. But at this point, I kind of start to stamp my authority on the game a little bit, and Sturridge there with a low driven off the post, and what a chance that was. And that was one of those where I was like, do I really have to put that in the video? It's quite embarrassing, but I had to get the hitting of the post in there. So yeah, it was an unfortunate moment. Jahanbakhsh cut in there with this one. That looked like it had to go in. It looked like it was destined. I mean, the way some of the finesse shots are in this game, somehow that one ended up going wide. You can see actually at half time I only had 5 shots, but I didn't actually have any on target apparently. Yeah, I felt like I'd been in some pretty good positions. Obviously a couple of kind of close calls there, but nothing on target, nothing to actually force the keeper into a save. A little scrappy moment there for him, but that's at the 64th/65th kind of minute. So most of the for about 20 minutes in the second half, nothing really happened. Absolutely no kind of chances for either side. We're getting into the last 20 now. This is where I picked the ball up with Sturridge playing Jahanbakhsh, and that was a decent effort that was well saved. And I believe this is where there's a big moment here. We got Lanzini whipping the corner in, and it's Dejan Lovren with a bullet header, and he's just planted that ball into the bottom left. The Champions League Dejan Lovren, that could have been all the difference. If it was the base card, he might not have scored that. But it looked like it was destined to be the keeper's ball, really. It was quite close to him. It was in a 6-yard box kind of area. Wasn't proper front post, in the centre really, but Lovren still got there, attacked it, put it in, put us a goal up. And it was one of those games where it looked like one goal could do it. But it was Antonio with a cross there, Sturridge with a nice take. It was a good block. I had to say sort of respect to the block there on that one. It looked like I was destined to double my lead very quickly after going in front. I put this corner in. Another decent header, but I mean that time the accuracy was wild from Rojo. But that is how that game finished, fortunately. So 1 division rivals placement match completed, and 1 win chalked off on the board. 11 shots, only 3 on target. I mean, you can see what I got to work on there. He only had 4 shots, 2 on target. Obviously dominated the ball as well. So that wasn't too bad of a start. Moving on to the second game though, guys. I played in the same kit again. I actually kind of wanted to play my purple one just to mix it up, but I ended up going for the Real Madrid kit. And this guy's team is Pope, Klein, Ake, Alderweireld. I believe the left back's called Brian. Wijnaldum, Seri, Lanzini. Then the front three of Alone, Mahrez, Bernard, and Joshua King. I was a little bit worried about playing against Josh King, I have to say, because I obviously had him in my team originally, and I didn't really like him, but I thought it was one of those typical things where he could end up scoring against me. First chance of the game actually fell to myself though, and Bruma in 23rd minute, but he couldn't take that one. I kind of overran it. That was kind of a theme, I have to say. That really angered me. Galaxy decides to punch it instead of holding it, and it ended up proving costly because the corner went straight in. It managed to go all the way back through the bodies. Alderweireld was there, and he turned it in with a smart finish on his left foot. Similar to the one which Meunier scored against Liverpool in the Champions League, actually, where he kind of just hooked it back into the near post. So I was 1-0 down in the first half, which was not ideal. Whenever I go 1-0 down, I do kind of worry, because I don't really feel like I can score 2 goals in a game at the moment, as bad as that sounds. I mean, the way the finishing's been, it's almost like, if you concede, you're not going to win. You're just going to have to hope and try and get a draw. But nonetheless, I had a bit of time, and there is the equaliser, which was fortunately before half time from Pulisic. The ball kind of fell to him nicely. Good finish. Again, it was a finesse shot. which is something that I've been trying to do a little bit more. I need to work on trying to get the time finesse shots in there. I've still not really kind of tried that yet, because like I haven't even really mastered the time shot, just in general, to be honest. So just kind of like stick with the basics for now. But it was a good finish by Pulisic. Obviously Ake trying to put the challenge in there, but he couldn't really get anywhere near him. So 40th minute, it's at 1-1. And I think, yeah, this was a bit of a scary moment. Galaxy, I mean, that kick was supposed to be full power. That's full power for him. He couldn't even get it off the floor, which is worrying. At that point, you know, you could imagine there was some colourful language leaving my mouth. But it is half time there, which is obviously at 1-1, so it's not too bad. You know, we were still in the game. We had a chance of taking a win out of this game. And obviously straight away you can see we've got good intentions. Konoplyanka going there with a low driven. Didn't really get the right kind of accuracy on the shot and direction, so it went straight out of keeper. Another chance here for Renato Sanchez. That was actually perfectly timed. You saw the icon above his head, or the indicator. It had the green outline. It was a perfectly timed shot, but for some reason he scooped it with the inside of his foot, so it didn't really help. That was a good effort from them, where they smacked it against the bar. Really caught me off guard, actually, that one. I didn't expect that to kind of fly. It must have been a time shot. And this, at that point, I was like, oof, cool. I mean, I'd been playing quite well in the second half, but it was a reminder that I had to stay on my guard, else I could end up losing this game. And certainly if I'd gone 2-1 down at that stage, I definitely wouldn't have got back, wouldn't have thought, because I wouldn't have had enough time. It would take a few opportunities to get a goal, and I wouldn't have had time to get those. But in the added time, last minute, Kagawa, I tried to take on a long shot of him. That was awful. To be honest, he's pretty awful. It was a scuff shot from him. It didn't even really get past the first man. It was easily blocked. Never looked like it was going to be destined for the goal. So unfortunately, that one finished as a draw. Not the end of the world. It wasn't the worst result I could have had. I was pretty content after 2 games to have like a win and a draw. To come out of those with no defeats was a decent start. The way I'd heard how some of the games have been going for various people, I expected to lose one of my first couple of games. So to come out of it with a draw and dominate the game as well, and I really felt like I should have won it. I felt like I should have come out of it with 2 wins. Meant that I was quite confident moving on to the rest of the games, and I felt like I would get a decent placement in the end. But yeah, like 55% of the ball as well. Again, you see, I'm doing quite well with the possession. Both games I've dominated the ball, which is obviously, it's sort of the first step to being able to play the passing game and break teams down. You need to have a lot of the ball, so that was obviously a good sign. I managed to sort of keep the ball quite well and pass it fairly nicely, even though it is unbelievably difficult. But on to game 3, and this is the opponent. So he's got a lone David De Gea, Seamus Coleman, Christensen, Rojo and Young, a midfield of Gay, Lanzini, and a Champions League Fred, which is a very nice card, and an attack of Shaqiri, Damari Gray and Jimenez. So, I mean, the attack was a little bit sort of average, I had to say. And there was a chance straight away for Lanzini, and he stuck it away at a second attempt. I hit the low driven at first. It was well blocked, but fortunately it fell straight back to him. He hit it again, like even though it was a finesse, he went with his left foot. I was expecting the right foot to just kind of curl it in, but he ended up hitting the inside of the post. It just about came off the post at a nice angle for it to just about kind of trickle over the line. I mean, it was pretty close. I mean, it could easily have been cleared, I thought, but it got us 1-0 up, which was, to be honest, quite welcome after the way that the game before went, where I just for some reason couldn't put the ball in the net. So I didn't really want another game like that. So to get a goal very early helped me and my, like mentally really, in terms of like the frustration. That was a moment for Antonio. I completely ballsed that situation. It was one of those ones where I think the finishing and how difficult it's been, it kind of got in my head. Like I was in and I knew that I had an opportunity and I just couldn't decide which shot to take on. And in the end, by the time I thought, oh, you know what, I'll hit a low driven, I was just like, oh, goalkeeper's got it. Great. So that's something for me to try and improve on for sure. At half time, I'd only had 1 shot on target, but it had gone in, so that was quite fortunate. That guy could have, he could have had the right to be a little bit disappointed, but he had only had 3 shots, 3 on target himself. That was a huge opportunity for Jahambach, and he ended up having that save. He didn't quite, well, it wasn't really close, to be honest, at all. That was a decent header. by Sissoko, I believe. But it was a fairly simple save. It wasn't too powerful. Zappacosta now with a crossing, and that is a phenomenal header from Lanzini, of all people. Of all the struggles I've had, I end up scoring a header with a guy who's, well, like 5'7", something like that. I don't know. I've not really checked, but I'll give a sort of a guesstimate there. About 5'7". He's got a bullet header. He just kind of like crept in front of his marker and just planted it in, really. That was a good effort as well. Poked towards goal. But that guy's how it finished. So you can see I had like more of the chances in the end in that game. Lanzini picked up man of the match, of course, because he was at the double and he won the game for me essentially. But it was the easiest of the lot, I have to say, that game. Obviously 2-0 in, you know, the circumstances of how this FIFA's going for me so far. 2-0 is a very, very good result. That for me, that's like a convincing result. Most games I'm winning by like the odd goal usually. So that was, pleasantly surprising. But again, I don't know if you just caught out there, 57% of the ball. Again, I was dominating the possession. It looks like it's going to be key. We're moving on to the fourth opponent. We had a team of Lecomte. Don't know who the right back is. The centre back's called Kiera. There's Kimpembe, Hernandez, Cyprian, Fekir, Matuidi, Dembele, Martial, and Dembele as well. There was Ousmane Dembele and Moussa Dembele. First chances for me with Pulisic with a header there, but he had a very good midfield like Fekir and Matuidi. That's good for this stage of the game. I hadn't played many opponents with a team like that. Pulisic again with another opportunity. That was a low driven, and he really should have done better there. That was kind of frustrating. I just didn't get the angle on that at all. Kagawa again, you saw the green flash, but for some reason he just, like him, I think it was Renato Sanchez before, they just insist on having a scoop shot and they don't actually take the shot on properly. So obviously a little bit frustrating that. It obviously so difficult to take that kind of shot on, and when it does eventually happen, for it to be taken in the wrong way and not actually put any kind of like ferocity on the shot, it does frustrate you. You do feel like you've worked incredibly hard for it, and for that to happen and it just basically get thrown down the drain, it is frustrating. But obviously it was half time, it was still 0-0. This looked like a game that could have been another draw. Obviously at this point I was on 2 wins and 1 draw. I could have been heading for 2 wins and 2 draws, which, to be honest, wouldn't have been terrible. That was a awful miss. I ended up... What happens is because of the way time shot works, when you get into a position like that, my natural thing was to just kind of like spam shoot, and, you panic and you're like, oh, kick it in the net, kick it. And, like, you keep spamming it, but then you end up doing a time shot and you time it badly. And you saw the indicator had like a red outline around it. And in the end, it turns out, I think he did actually get to it first, but he just kicked it so strangely because essentially that's what I told him to do. And he missed. But luckily, as you can see, it didn't actually mean anything in the end, because in the 84th minute, Yevhen Konoplyanka, he dispatched a low driven with his left foot. I didn't even do like that good a kind of build-up play. I just kind of moved forward quickly and just drilled it in, and that was just sent into delirium, really. And the game ended there as a 1-0, a scrappy 1-0 win. We edged it out, which meant that after 4 matches we were going into the final game with a record of 3 wins, 1 draw and 0 defeats, which at that point I knew that whatever happens in the final game, I'm going to get a decent kind of placement in my for the divisions on the when it all goes through and whatever they decide to dish out. But that game, 51% of the ball, more opportunities and chances though. So I couldn't dominate the play as much in that game, but still had slightly more and edged out the 1-0. Going into the final game, guys, this was tough. It was pretty tough. So look at that team. I mean, no loan cards there either. So Alisson, Ricardo Pereira, Bailly, Ake, Van Aanholt, Inform Yarmolenko, Fred, Goretzka, Coman, Rashford and Lewandowski. Now, that's rough. That is real rough team to go up against. At first sort of like moments of the game, my goal was getting absolutely peppered. It was all this guy. In fact, I didn't even cut any of this out. I literally just pretty much just kept it all going because it was just opportunity after opportunity and attack after attack. yeah, so many shots on Pope's goal. He pulled off a couple of decent saves, but just too many opportunities. And I mean, it might be too much here. There may be moments which you sort of look at and not really lots happened, but I didn't really feel like it was worth cutting any of it out. Like, look at that, another save, another corner for them. I couldn't clear the corners properly. The way that he was putting them in, you can see that a lot of bend, a lot of whip, a lot of power on the corner. Just looking for that little flick on, really. And again there, another save, but he's decided to just kind of like tip it over instead of catch it. It's kind of been a theme with some of the goalkeepers so far, probably just because of the rating. I'm sure if I get a slightly higher rated goalkeeper that might have slightly better handling and decide to actually hold the ball at times. But yeah, that was that kind of big flurry there. Luckily I didn't get punished for it and didn't concede, but it didn't take long for me to get punished. I don't think it's just quite yet. It's probably about the 27th minute, I believe it was. He had another shot with Lewandowski, which I'm surprised, that looked like it was in. Looked like it was going to nestle in. But this guy was just unreal. He mastered the timed finishing, which you'll see in some of the moments that he had. Obviously, he had a very good team. Whether or not that's, he might have just got lucky in a pack, or I don't know if he spent money on the game for FIFA points, but he was really good. Easily the hardest opponent. I put up a decent fight against him. Like, I did create chances, but that was the goal from Rashford, which put him 1-0 up. I was a little bit frustrated with that goal because I couldn't seem to get close to him for some reason. The way the defending just kind of seemed different to how it normally had in all the games I've played so far in this game. Like, normally the players are really good at putting a foot in and kind of just getting blocks and getting in the way, but for some reason, like, I had two players there and neither of them decided that they would do anything, and they just allowed Rashford to take the shot on, and a low driven in that kind of situation was always going to end up in the net. But nonetheless, I mean, you can see it's 30 minutes gone, it's only 1-0, you're still in the game. There's a good ball in there. That was a massive chance. That was probably the first realistic opportunity I had to put the ball in the net, so I was quite disappointed I didn't take that. But this is another opportunity where Daniels put the ball in, and Antonio, I mean, that was shocking and real bad. Real bad kind of connection. But he makes amends because he came in at the back post, and what a header that is by Michail Antonio. He brings out the celebration to match the level of the goal, because that is something. The way he's headed it back from where it came, his vision's blocked by Van Aanholt, but he's just powered it in at the far post. And look at the stats. I mean, the guys, he must have been fuming at this stage. He'd had 11 shots, 7 on target. It said I'd had 4 shots, none on target, but it's because when you hit the post, if it's like posting, it still counts as not being on target. So that Antonio one didn't kind of register. But obviously it was a shot. It was a proper legit goal. But here's the moment where he went 2-1 up. He completely done me, to be fair there. There was nothing I could do about that. It was a good finish. It was a really good turn. I didn't see it coming. Kingsley Coman, smart finish. Rifled into the top right-hand corner. But yeah, at that point, again, I was like, I've just equalised, like, not that long ago. You go straight back behind, and the effort it took to equalise, it's a bit demoralising. But there was an opportunity for Lanzini, which was smartly saved. Obviously, pretty much straight down his throat, down the middle, but it was an awkward height, considering it looked like he'd already kind of sort of bent down and dived to the floor. There's another header from us. What's this chance here? We got Yarmolenko. That was a decent turn again. It was a similar turn to the Coman effort, but again straight down the keeper's throat. It's a theme with some of these, some of the attempts in the game in general. But this is a moment where Rashford picks up the ball. Looked like he was going to go on his left, but he completely done me, cut back onto his right, and quickly just unleashed a really sharp effort. That was definitely had to be a time finish, where it just flew into the top right hand corner, and that's when I knew that I'd been beaten by somebody who was just a far better player at this stage of the game. He clearly mastered some of the techniques and I hadn't, so I had to take that one on the chin. So I ended up with 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat. Fairly respectable. I had an interesting experience playing it. I enjoyed it. I mean, like, I'm really keen to get going. But you can see I ended up being placed in Division 5 and I have a skill rating of 1,419. I have no idea if that's good or not. But yeah, all I know is that it was fairly enjoyable but frustrating at the same time, just because of the whole finishing thing. But you know, it is what it is. But I hope you enjoyed the goals anyway, guys. Yeah, that was that. Alright, guys, so that's how it went for me in my placement matches. Mixed kind of bag of games there. Obviously, you know, it went fairly well in general. It could have obviously done a little bit better, but considering the team which I was using, I couldn't really complain too much. But one thing I just want to say to you guys really is that, you know, you saw my team there. It's very like inexpensive. If you guys haven't gone into Division Rivals already because you've seen things about people saying, oh, make sure you've got a good team, don't jump straight in, it's a mistake. Like, just, I would say just get yourselves in there. Just play the games, get yourself placed into a division. The sooner you're in a division, the sooner you can start earning these points for your ranking to, you know, earn yourself some rewards, because you have unlimited games as far as I can see. And the way that it's all like scored is basically you get such and such amount of points depending on how your game goes, whether you win, you draw, you lose, stuff like that. I'm guessing maybe you get some for promotions, I'm not sure, but your promotions are based on your skill rating. So obviously I got given a skill rating of 1,419, so that placed me in Division 5, but I'm going to need 1,600 skill rating to get into Division 4. So whether or not when you get up a new division you get points, I'm not sure. I'll have to try and experience that, but you can see that the way each rank is done, so rank 4 is 97% of the competition, and then it's 80%, 40%, and only 15% of the players, I presume, in your division. I'm guessing it's all separated into divisions. So in this case, it should be 15% of the players in Division 5 will get a choice of these various rewards over here. But it's going to change, so it's all just done by, like, at the moment it's 11,020 points to get yourself in rank 1, but if there's more and more people that have got more and more points, so like it will change. It basically just works the same as squad battles. It's difficult to explain. It's all done in percentages essentially, and like the average points and what the average points are, the whole community of the people in that division. But you'll see as you go along that maybe you might get yourself into rank 1 and then you come back a day later, and because you were only just in rank 1 you might have dropped to rank 2, and then you have to play a few more games, get yourself back in like it is in squad battles. But the good thing about this is unlimited games. So with squad battles, if you ballsed up a couple games and then you dropped out and you're like, oh god, I've only got like one game left, it's really risky, or you might have run out of games completely. Sometimes it's difficult to get yourself back into where you were. With this, if you're slightly off the mark, if you're only like a couple thousand points off, you know, you might have a few hours spare. Just grind out a few matches and you should be able to get yourself back in, ideally, as long as, you know, as long as the rank doesn't, the threshold doesn't keep going up and up and up, you should be alright. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it really, guys. I don't really want to say too much more. I'm going to have to try and experience it myself and see how I get on in this first week. I'm obviously at a little bit of a disadvantage because I've only, you know, it's Wednesday now in the week and I've not actually played any matches. I've not got any points, so it's going to be pretty difficult for me to get into rank 1, I would have thought, and get the best reward at the end of the week. And this is what I was saying about you guys. Get yourselves in there now. Give yourself as much time as possible in the week to get yourself into a higher rank as possible, and therefore get yourself some more rewards, which are going to be crucial at this stage of the game, because you can see most of them, they involve packs. A lot of them, you do get the choice. If you want coins, you can take coins, but packs at this stage, if you can get something big, if you can get a big pull, it could be club change at this stage. It can really help you out and give you that boost for maybe like the next week, and maybe like the first weekend league, which should be obviously not this weekend coming, but the next one. Just little things like that to try and improve the quality of your team and your club and the squads that you're using. So just try and get yourselves in this as quickly as you can, really, guys. This is kind of like as much evidence of that as I can give you right now. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed like the gameplay, the highlights. Also, there weren't too many goals because of how the nature of the game right now, but there was a few sort of high quality goals nonetheless. So obviously, if you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and obviously comment to let me know what you think. Seems we having issues here with this. I don't know what's happened here. Doesn't seem to want to load. There we go. Yeah, obviously in comments, let me know what you think. Just let me know like what your skill ratings are and how like what your results were out of the 5 games and what division that placed you in, because I'm trying to sort of like figure out where I might have gone if I that draw had been a win or something like that, or if I could have got a draw out of the game, a loss, to see what difference it would have made in terms of a skill rating and the division. So let me know how yours kind of all like matched up and where it put you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, then you can do that as well if you like, and also hit the notification bell to make sure that you get notifications when my latest videos do drop. But that is it from me, guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.